Later in this video, my driving gets way better. We challenge this rig, and we show you how good it looks. We're taking a look at a Toyota Tacoma crawler. This new scale adventure truck is from Carisma, and it's based on their SCA1E platform. However, it's the 2.1 version, which means there's some changes that we need to check out. Things such as an included program card, counter-rotating center drive shafts, and it comes with stuff that's normally purchased aftermarket with some other kits. So of course, we'll dive into the important features of this kit and of course, take it out to the trails too. Let's get started. The Tacoma pickup became an instant favorite since its release, and Carisma did an amazing job here replicating the latest generation in 1/10 scale form. It comes painted from the factory in black. It does have clear windows. We just have a tint decal over it. I love the decal graphics on the side, the TRD Pro logo, and up front here, the headlights are clear with decals and headlight buckets behind it because this truck comes equipped with LED lights from the factory. Same with the tail lights. We have LED lights in the rear. There are also a lot of molded pieces to further give this truck some detail. The front faceplate of the bumper is molded, as well as the grille, the hood scoop, the door handles, the fin roof antenna, even the rear tailgate handle, and the rear bumper. The shape of the cab area itself is really well done, although Carisma bodies tend to run a little bit smaller on the 1/10 scale size. The rear bed area here does feature a tonneau cover type of cap to it, but the one thing I did notice here on the two-piece body is the rear section kind of sags a little bit based on where the body mounts. So that's one thing that does take away a bit of the scale here, a sagging rear bed. But check out these wheels and tires. I love the Toyota style rim that they have on here. It is a beadlock style rim, and it has these Carisma scale adventure tires, so I'm interested to see how they work. So overall, I like the look of it. I like that it has LED lights. Now let's take a look at the chassis. So this is the new 2.1 spec version of the SCA1E chassis, and you can tell the difference by the battery is now mounted in the front where it used to be on the rear of the original chassis. We still have metal C-channel frame rails and composite cross braces, but I like that they now move the battery forward so you get the weight over the front wheels so it'll crawl better. They move the radio box to the rear. Moving back to the chassis itself, you could go and add bumpers to this chassis set if you want to. They still have the boxes for the front and rear, and they even have mounts for the rock sliders, which are actually all included in the kit. Now let's move on to the drivetrain because there's some exciting stuff going on here that you need to see. So the transmission has been updated. It looks very similar at first, but there's an extension on the transmission housing now for counter-rotating gears. And this counter-rotates the front drive shaft to help eliminate torque twists. It's a very simple fix, and I'm interested to see how it works when we get it on the trails. I like that they still have the metal slider drive shafts in the center, both front and rear. Let's take a look at these axles. They are a solid axle front and rear, not an IFS like the Tacoma would have in real life. There's even CV style axles in the front, steel shafts in the rear. So the suspension is made up of a triangulated 4-link, both front and rear. Those links are metal, which is really cool, and metal ball studs from the factory. But what I really like about the suspension setup is the large bore shocks that they have on this. Now it's time to move on to the electronics, and you may have already noticed there's already a battery in this truck. That's because it comes with it from the factory. This truck is completely ready to run. It gives you absolutely everything you need to run it, including this nickel metal hydride pack. It has a Metal Gear high torque servo. It has a 17-turn 5-pole motor, and this ARC2 speed controller that you see back here. Pretty neat looking speed controller, and it comes with a program card, so you could go and adjust all the functionality of this unit, such as the drag brake, the punch, and it is a 2 to 3S LiPo capable speed controller as well. The kit of course includes AA batteries. Here is the charger for the main battery pack. Yeah, it's a USB charger, but technically it will get you going. There are some extra decals in the kit. Here is your instruction manual, the bumpers I mentioned before, and that little program card. Now, the mirrors aren't installed from the factory, so that's something I still have to do here. So I'll go throw these on and we'll head out and hit the trail. This spot right here is the perfect challenge for crawlers. And look at this, it went right up. Let's see if it can handle the washout. Up and over, oh, little body scratch. It's twisted up, back out. Nice, right through. Of course, we got to get in some sightseeing. One-handed drive. Oh, it's going. We got it. A little scratch on the front. You're wondering how fast it goes out of the box? A little quicker than a walking pace. So here we are technically at the third test location with the Carisma, and this time I have a LiPo battery in there. I was talking to Scale Builders Guild, who also has one of these to test out, and he said I had to put a LiPo battery in it. So it's happening. Here it is, guys, the incline spot. Let's see if the Tacoma can handle it. Wow, not a problem. Right up to the top. Here's the next big challenge for the 2.1 spec. Let's see if it can do it. Oh, we got some wheel spin. That torque twist is in check though. Let's give it a little pop of speed. Back up. Straight, there we go, look at that. Oh, it wants to go. It's almost there. Nice, up and over. Gotta go around my favorite turn here. Here we go. Now look at that, that is full steering, and I'm gonna have to back up here. This is one part where the SCA1E has a challenge. It does not have a ton of steering throw. Look at that, that's full lock. Oh, we barely made it. From what I remember driving an SCA1E, the 2.1 spec is much better. They did a great job on the redesign here. I felt the truck was a lot more planted with the weight up front. I think that transmission tweak where we have the opposite rotating drive shaft to get rid of that torque twist really helped settle this truck down, and it was just a lot of fun to drive in all the locations I took it to. The steering could use a little bit more steering. The servo, although it's nice that it's metal gear, just doesn't have the throw. So I definitely recommend a steering upgrade if you really get into this truck beyond just fooling around in the backyard. The other thing that really bothered me, guys, is the bed. It just seems to sag down and flop around as you're driving. And with this body redesign, I mean, the cab is beautiful. I think they just could have went and maybe gotten rid of the rear body post and keyed it into the rear bumper mount, the one that's attached to the chassis. And that would have probably flattened the bed out, it would have secured it, and it would have just been awesome. I would have even been fine with two body clips in the front and maybe they hinge the rear. That would have, you know, just made it a lot better. Since I'm nitpicking the reverse LED lights being on all the time, I think those lights would have been better served up front in some sort of bucket. You could probably go and actually put them into the bumper that's included. Just not sure how this bumper is going to look on the front of this. And the other nitpicky thing is the decals that are included with the kit, they actually give you two of one size, so you really can't use them. The throttle control was nice and smooth. I like the braking on here. You know, I got the truck hung up a couple times on some of the rocks, but for the scale look of it, sticking to a flat trail type of setup is where this rig is really going to be home. And I think you can go and upgrade it. You know, the parts availability for options out there is a little limited, but I've seen some people get creative, and I think this truck could really be a lot of fun.